242 people boarded a Boeing 787 Dreamliner from Ahmedabad and only one came back alive. But it wasn't just those on board, even medical students on the ground lost their lives. In this video, we will talk about the crash that shocked the nation. And we will cover what actually happened, what we know so far, viral rumors, Boeing's history of aviation, is air travel really safe, who are the safest airlines in the world, and last but not the least, could this accident have been prevented? Now let's go ahead and see what actually happened on June 12th. It was 1:39 p.m. in Ahmedabad. A Boeing 787 Dreamliner took off from the runway, heading to London Gatwick. Everything looked normal at first. Passengers were enjoying their flight, captains were controlling the plane, but just 30 seconds after takeoff, something went very wrong. The plane was only 625 feet above the ground, barely above the buildings, when the pilot called out a mayday. The pilot's message was low thrust, no power, no lift, which tells us that engines were shut down. Just a few seconds later, the plane crashed straight into BJ Medical Boys Hostel. Out of 262 people on board, only one survived. Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, a British Indian passenger in seat 11A. He remembers that everything was normal until the plane took off. But later, after some seconds, everything gone dark in a cabin, and then there was a loud bang, and then plane crashed, and he somehow jumped out of the exit door, which got opened automatically after crash. And then there was a fire, the smoke, and everything. When we look at the video footage of a crash, we see that the landing gear was still down. That is strange. By the altitude of 625 feet above the ground, the pilot should have already pulled up the landing gear. But we don't know, maybe there was some issue with pulling up the gear, or maybe just a human error. But anyway, we will talk about this scenario later in this video. And if you remember that Vishwanath also mentioned that cabin light went out suddenly, just before the crash. And if you take closely look at this video, there was a rat deployed. That tells us something serious happened after takeoff of the plane. RAT stands for Ram Air Turbine. It is a small propeller-like a device which gets deployed in case of aircraft emergencies. And usually when both of the engines get turned off or there is a total electric power loss. And hence in the video, as we see RAT got deployed, any of these two could be true. But even with the RAT deployed, plane couldn't stay in the air. It vanished from the radar of air flight control system and crashed just seconds later. For both engines to shut down right after takeoff, that's extremely rare. But the same aircraft, Boeing 787, had a similar issue before, but not while takeoff, but after landing. And just so you know that I'm not making this up, I have linked all the articles, all the research papers, which I'll talk in the video in the description. Feel free to check them out and verify. On January 2019, the Boeing 787 operated by All Nippon Airways when touched down on Osaka, while reversing the aeroplane, both the engines got shut down. We will get into Boeing's past incident just a bit later, so please watch this video till end. Life, as we have seen, can change in seconds. We can't control what happens next, but we can really prepare for it. That's why it is so important to have at least two basic safety nets in a life. First one, a term insurance policy, and second one is a health insurance policy. So that if something happens to you, your loved ones don't have to suffer financially. And you know the best part, you don't have to go anywhere to get these two policies for you. As I am an agent and a policy advisor, I'll give you the base plan with the minimum premium starting from a 500 rupees per month. You just have to fill out the 6 quick details in the form that I have linked in the description. Now let's get ahead and see what we know so far about the aircraft. The aircraft was 11 years old. It was delivered in 2014. Plane usually runs around 10 to 20 years with proper maintenance. And there are still planes whose age is more than 25 years. Another fact we know about the aircraft is right engine was overhauled in March 2025. Overhaul means the right engine was taken apart from the aircraft and some part was maintenance tested and again they have reinstalled into the aircraft. And the left engine was inspected in April 2025 and the maintenance was due on December 25 this year. And hence there were no mechanical defects in the engines. Third fact that we know is the black box has been recovered from the flight. It is actually orange in color and contains two main things. First is a cockpit voice recorder and second is a flight data recorder. The next fact that we know is DGCA, that is a regulatory body of civil aviation in India, has grounded Air India 787 for thorough checks. Out of 33, 26 aircrafts have been cleared so far. The next fact that we know is Tata Group have extended 1 crore for each family that has been caught in an accident. The next fact that we know is we can expect to get preliminary investigation report around next month, and the second report called as a final report, which usually takes around 1 to 2 years to get generated. Now let's get ahead and see what are the viral rumors that are spreading across our social media. First claim was a very major claim, and the claim says that there was a mandatory safety inspection given by DGCA to the Air India Boeing 787 being overdue. If you take a look into this DGCA investigation report, the inspection was overdue on the 3 Airbus aircraft which operated by Air India and not the Boeing 787 Dreamliner which got caught in this crash. Second claim was about ACN lights failed before takeoff. There was a viral video showed that a cabin discomfort on an Air India plane, but it is unconfirmed that it was the same aircraft. But nonetheless, as analysis has suggested that minor cabin discomfort cannot be linked into a major engine issues, and until and unless preliminary investigation report or a final report comes, we cannot guarantee that it was a major engine issues before taking takeoff. And the third claim about the aircraft accident was a survivor is faking it. The actress named Sujitra posted that the survivor, that is Vishwas, faked the accident because survivor escaped was too calm, but she later apologized publicly after getting a backslash. And the last claim we will cover is the seat 11A is the safest. There is no data supporting that any specific seat guarantees the survival in a crash. The truth is survival often comes with a luck, crash angle, and the structure on which the crash has happened. Now let's get ahead and see Boeing's history of aviation and its past incident. A report published by Harvard Business School in January 24 clearly identified the root cause of Boeing's ongoing accidents. And it did say that there was no matter of technical incompetence, but as a result of leadership driven cultural transformation. According to this report, Boeing's leadership has gradually moved away from the company's original core value of engineering excellence, triggering a slow but a steady erosion of its internal culture. And also, the report said that the short term financial objectives had been taken over than engineering standard. And there are numerous accidents that happened with the Boeing, and I'll just cover a few of them just to save time. There was a 2 separate incidents involving lithium ion battery fires, one on a Japan Airlines plane in Boston and another on an all Nippon Airways flight in Tokyo, that led to regulator grounding the entire 787 fleet worldwide. Then on July 2013, a parked Ethiopian Airlines 787 caught a fire at London's Heathrow Airport. And then in the January 2019, after pilot completed the touchdown on the runway, they realized the both Rolls-Royce Trent engines had shut down when pilots activated the thrust reverser to slow the aircraft upon landing. Another in March 2023, 787 operated by LATAM Airlines suddenly dropped mid-flight between Sydney and Auckland, injuring over 50 passengers. Then there was a Boeing 737 MAX, especially the crashes that happened in 2018 and 19, where this accident killed 346 people. And when regulators inspected this accident, they got to note that there was a new software launched by Boeing called MCAS. So this was designed to prevent the plane from stalling by automatically pushing the nose down if it sensed the plane was climbing too steeply. The second main cause that is pilots weren't informed about this software. They tried to regain the control, but somehow MCAS tried to push the nose down of a plane, which led to crash. And there are many reports of Boeing was accused of rushing developments so that prioritizing more competition with Airbus over safety. And also did company faced a grounding for more than 20 months for 737 MAX aircrafts. They also paid over $2.5 billion in settlement. So the next question comes here is air travel really safe? Yes, it is one of the safest travel options. According to global statistics and safety data, air travel is the safest form of long distance travel. The chances of dying in an airplane crash are estimated at 1 in 11 million compared to 1 in 5,000 if you travel by car. And in 2025, most safest full service airlines according to airlineratings.com are Air New Zealand, Qantas, Cathay Pacific, Qatar Airways, Emirates, Virgin Australia, Etihad. Now, that doesn't mean you are 100% safe if you travel with these airlines, but that means they are comparatively safer than other airlines. So, the final question come here is, could this accident have been prevented? To be honest with you, it is very easy to generalize, debate, and start pointing fingers to one another. Everyone in the media knew these are just speculations. No one is delivering truth. The truth will come once we have the report, I guess. So it wouldn't be fair to blame single person, single system, or a single company. Not yet. In my opinion, and basically what I have looked and analyzed this all the reports so far, this crash wasn't just caused by one thing. It is more likely that combination of multiple factors come into place to cause this tragic crash. But again, this is just my analysis. I don't know what is right, what is wrong until the final report comes. The few of the possibility that experienced airline industries persons are talking about are high temperature. The high temperature means low air density. Low air density means in given square there would be less air molecules compared to the one with a higher air density. As we know that airplane requires a thrust to move forward, and this thrust is generated by the engines. An engine require air molecule, I mean oxygen molecule, it gets combined with the fuel and gets converted into thrust. If there are less air molecules, the engine will have to work more. Second possibility is heavy cargo load. Some reports and the expert ex-pilots saying that the plane may have been carrying a large cargo load, which could have also explained the late liftoff almost at the end of the runway, and you could see the dust. But again, we don't have an official statement yet, so we cannot completely confirm this point. And third possibility is both engines shut down after takeoff. As we can see, after takeoff, a rat got deployed, and as we have seen already that rat get deployed only in two reasons. First one is both engines get turned off, and second one is when there is no electric power generated in airplane, and that may be cause of landing gears are still on even with getting 625 feet height. Usually after 400 feet pilots retract the landing gear and they normalize the flaps so as to reduce the air drag. The main catalyst of this explosion was a fuel, but as it was a long flight, it is mandatory for a plane to carry more fuel than expected. And hence, as I told already, that until and unless we get an official preliminary investigation report, we cannot comment, we cannot say that this is the reason why this crash has happened. But anyway, these were just speculations and expert ex-pilots statements, and it was been carrying around news media and everything. So that I have tried to cover all of these statements in one go. As in this video, we tried to understand what exactly happened with AI-171 crash. Let's take a second to pray for the innocent souls lost in this tragedy. Om Shanti.